Welcome to Talk Techie to me. My name is Kristen Lindberg. I am an event marketing manager here at Logitech. Today we are going to be covering Logitech Sight with Craig Ishii and Vivek Sakar leading us on a presentation and demo. But before we get started, I just wanted to do a couple housekeeping items. Please make sure you have your full name in your Zoom window. We'll be choosing a winner of a UE Boom, and would need to know your name for that. And then also we ask that you put all your questions in the Q&A. So before I turn it over to Craig, I am going to ask Robert to say a couple words.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kristen. And also thank you so much, everybody, for joining our Talk Techie to Me session again. We do this every month, last Tuesday of every month, and we really do appreciate the folks that join. And if it's your first time joining, welcome. And super excited about the Talk Techie to Me today. We are going to talk a little bit about Sight. And I know a lot of you already are quite aware of what Logitech Sight is and how it works. But I'm going to have Craig kind of run you through a very high-level summary of it. And then we are going to introduce you to something new. And I know a lot of our customers and partners have been very excited about our dual sight capabilities. And we are going to demonstrate that for you today. And we've asked for Craig and for Craig Ishii and Vivek Sakar to join us and walk us through that experience. And I'll hand it over to Craig.
Awesome. So let me go to the next slide here. I promise that we won't spend inexorbitant amounts of time talking about a review of Sight. However, for those who are maybe new to Logitech, it's important to kind of set the right foundation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few slides giving a review of what is Sight, what are some of its features, what is it meant to do, and then at the very end, we're going to transition to what is this newest feature that really transforms Sight, which has already transformed our virtual meeting experience. But starting here, we created Sight to, Nathan's on this call too. One of the things that he had told me that I really liked was that it's been transformative to how people experience meetings. And I think that that's really the most important part, right? So when you have a meeting and you're just looking at a wide view of people who are sitting in the room, it's more difficult to engage with folks who are there. So with Sight, we added it as a companion camera to the rally bar that's at the front of the room. And together, Sight and Rally Bar do things. First, they bring this front and center experience where people can really be immersed right in the center of the table, right as you're seeing here, to what's happening as conversations happen around the table. But then some of the other neat features that you're going to see is that Rally Bar and Sight will communicate with each other in order to make that experience better. So let's talk about some of the specs, some of the things that are just natively part of Sight. First, we've got two 4K cameras that are part of the system. Those 4K cameras are going to deliver a 315-degree view of the room. Now, it's specifically not a 360-degree camera, and that's intentional. And the reason for that is if you look at this part of the Pac-Man here, we do not want to frame or cover people that are on the television screen or that are at the front of the room. Instead, we want to capture people that are sitting around the table. So 315 degrees. And in addition to that, like I talked about, it's going to communicate with Rally Bar for things like smart switching. So if you look at Sarah here, and if you look at Vivek here on the right and here on the left, as they turn from the center of the table to the front, you're going to see that camera feed switch. So that's very much intentional so that people who are sitting remote are always getting a front-facing view of people who are sitting in the room. But the great part about Sight is that it's not just about the visuals. You're also having 7 microphones. So we have a mic pod that's built into Sight too. So you're getting both audio and visual pickup from the center of the table. And that one, you're also getting about 7.5 feet for those of us in North America. If you're attending from Europe, we get about 2.3 meters, but you're getting pretty broad pickup for microphones around the table. And we even have a mute button that's built into Sight so that people who are sitting at the table can just easily press the mute on the Sight and mute their voice. Installation is also super simple. When we start talking about our new feature today for dual sights, it's going to be equally simple, but it's as simple as connecting in power to the Sight and then using a category cable and connecting that Sight to the Rally Bar. I'm not going to steal Vivek's thunder. He's going to talk a little bit about how dual sights are going to work, which are equally simple. But I'll give a little bit of a preview. As part of Sight, when we first developed it, we had this buried RJ45 port. And if you look, there is both mic pods that can be connected into this, as well as a second sight. But folks have been eagerly awaiting for two sites to be supported. So we're excited to finally announce that today. But this is the port where you're going to connect the second sight into. And in addition to that, of course, it's super easy to mount. So we have what I call 2.5 or 3 different mounting options. We have a table mount, we have a grommet mount, and there's also a tripod mount, and they're all included in the box. They're not separate purchases. And of course, on all the different platforms, it's going to work with all those platforms. Now, with dual sights, Vivek is going to talk through some of the different camera modes and how the experience is going to vary just slightly based on the platform that you're on. But the important part is that for Teams, we're certified. For Zoom, we're certified. And it certainly also works with Google Meet as well. And then the last part, Dennis and I just did the last Talke Techie to me on this. So if you're interested in learning more, I really encourage you to watch that. It's been posted on both YouTube as well as Product Hub, but we did a big deep dive into sync. So Dennis and I talked about everything from using groups to support tickets to update channels to basic management to remote UI, a lot of really good stuff and a lot of new stuff that we came out with in this last year. Okay. I promised that I wouldn't spend more than 5 minutes doing a review of Sight, and we did that. So now we're at 10:07. What I want to start talking about is dual sights. So Vivek is going to talk us through this portion here, and he is right on time, perfectly timed. I'm going to tee him up here and talk about how when Sight came out, people loved the experience. They loved how we were able to get that center of table view together with Rally Bar. They loved the smart switching. They love how it was a much more engaging experience. And they loved it so much that they asked, can we do this with a second sight? And so with CollabOS 1.15, which is coming very, very, very soon, within the next couple weeks, we are excited to announce dual sights in a room. So Vivek, I'm going to pass it over to you. We're going to start with setup. I think it might be easiest. Kristen, I don't know if you want to pass over your computer to him, if you want him to control slides, or I'm happy to control slides. Either one, Vivek.
Can just do that.
We'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Greg. And I see quite a few familiar faces in the call today. So before we jump into the setup, I think Craig was highlighting how we designed Sight and that overall experience. And after the first Sight and the smart switching feature that was rolled out, one of the big asks is, hey, I want to put it into my high value rooms and get that same equitable meeting experience for more folks. And that's where our intent was to enable multiple sites. And in this case, the second site being connected to our device. So with the daisy chain setup, to have that seamless experience, let me figure out how to hit next. Perfect. So we do have a recommendation of how you would place the second site in that room, which in this case, in our boardroom, we have it set up where it's kind of following this guideline. So you have the front of room solution, the Rally Bar or the Rally Bar Mini, to which the first site connects to at a distance of 2.5 meters. And from there on, this is also something that Craig highlighted in his images earlier, the site has an additional RJ45 port, which allows you to connect the Sight 2. For this call, I'll just use Sight 1 and Sight 2. So you can actually connect that in, and you will have, again, a 2.5 meter recommended distance for that setup. So for a meeting room table, as long as this room, 2 sites would be able to capture pretty much all the participants in the room. Once you have the setup in place, the first site, or Sight 1, as we are referencing here, will continue to do the smart switching experience. So the remote participants always get the best angle of the people when they're talking to remote participants in the call. And then for folks who are at the head of the table, closest to the Sight 2, it will capture those people from that second site. So jumping into what does that remote experience look like? And we will spotlight these streams so everyone can get to see and look into each and every stream as it comes in. But a quick highlight, we started off with room view and right side to doing group framing and all the features as part of it. And then we introduced Sight, the first Zoom Rooms Intelligent Director certified appliance solution, also certified for Teams and soon to be certified for Google. That Craig highlighted. So today, when you have a single site, we focus on up to 4 active speakers, and we still provide the context of the room. So remote participants know who are all in the room while still seeing the participants were actively engaged in a conversation. With the second site being included in the picture, we are introducing this as a beta feature in CollabOS 1.15. You will get, again, the continued room view to be able to get the context of what's happening in the room. And each of the sites captures up to 4 people. So all 4 people in those 2 sites are getting captured and relayed back to the remote participant. With the platform of choice, there is a slight variation on how the remote experience sees it. In this case today, we're using Zoom, and as a Zoom Intelligent Director solution, you can individually pin each of these streams. So as a remote participant, you can choose which of these streams to focus on. But for solutions that are not Zoom, we have additional integrations that we're doing, which I will touch on in a few slides. Going up from there, before we jump into supported platforms, and I already talked about Zoom, Teams, and Google. Robert, should we just stop the share and do a quick
Sure.
walkthrough of our streams? Let me stop. Awesome. Thank you, Craig. And then we'll get pinned here. Perfect. Thank you. That's the 2 streams. And then the 3rd stream. Awesome. So quick call out for the folks. In this case of Zoom Rooms, with the Intelligent Director integration, we are seeing a total of 3 streams, individual 3 streams that are getting streamed to the remote participants. And as a remote participant, each one of you can choose which stream to be highlighted. So this is going to be the experience from a Zoom Room perspective. On the case of Teams, whether it's Teams Rooms on Android or Teams Rooms for Windows, these 3 streams will be composited into a single stream for Teams to be able to relay to the remote participant. So you'll see all 3 camera streams coming in as one tile. I'll use the word tile for now to differentiate it. And you'll be able to see all the participants in the room from the room view and also from sight. And in this case, as you can see, the Rally bar is actually detecting me. So it's doing smart switching. My colleague Davis and Kristen, they're getting framed by both the Rally bar or the sight. And then our friends here at the back of the table or the head of the table are getting streamed from site 2. So Teams customers will get this experience in a single time. And for customers who are on the Meet ecosystem, whether it's Meet on Android or Meet on Chrome OS, you get the same experience where a single tile has the 3 composited stream as part of it. And then finally, if you are one of those folks who likes to have a BYOD kind of solution, where you bring in your laptop or you're letting your end users bring in their laptop, they will also get the same experience. Each one of these solutions, there is the preferred approach on how you would control it. Before we jump into Q&A, let me do a quick set of slides to walk you through each of the camera modes. So Craig, if you don't mind, you can bring up the slides. Thank you. All right, so we're showcasing this demo in Zoom. So I'll quickly highlight how it happens on Zoom Rooms. So Zoom Rooms appliances. So if you're using it in the Android mode, you enable Intelligent Director from the camera controls on Zoom Rooms, the controller. Once you activate it, you'll get the stream individually, 3 camera streams being sent out to the remote end. Zoom Rooms for Windows, they have their own separate Intelligent Director solution. So this is where using our sync platform, you'll be able to enable grid view, and that would leverage the single tile experience for Zoom Rooms for Windows customers to be able to experience that. So that's on Zoom. And this is something that, again, from a Sight 1 perspective, it's already a certified solution for Zoom Rooms. And going on from Zoom to Teams, and I do see quite a few of our customers for Teams on this call. So quick highlight here, it starts off with, again, on-camera controls for Teams Rooms on Android being in composite view. That will activate this experience of a single tile with 3 streams. And then in the case of Teams Rooms on Windows, you can leverage again our sync platform to be able to get the right side to grid view feature. It will detect that you have two sites connected and the participants in the room to frame them accordingly. Going on from there to Google Meet. This explicitly, again, you will have to, with CollabOS 115 on Google Meet on Android, enable manufacturer framing, and then use the grid view feature, either through the device UI, through the local web view, or the sync platform to be able to enable the multi-site experience. And then on Meet on Chrome OS, this is certification pending. We will support it as part of grid view feature. So certification is targeted for later this year. And with that, you'll be able to experience it on Meet on Chrome OS also. All right. Maybe we do a quick Q&A. Oh, sorry, last one. I completely forgot about this. So BYOD. So this is when customers have either extend or an active cable, and they want to be able to allow end users to come in and connect their laptop. They'll get the same experience. And as IT admins, you can control it with the same platform or through the device settings or through the local network access that's available on the device. So BYOD also matches pretty much other platform solutions that we have.
So a call out for folks who are on the call here, and I did see a question of this in the chat. This can be confusing because the experience both varies by platform and also the camera mode can vary by platform. So I think that's why Vivek spent time covering every slide here, but we're also going to be putting a very detailed guide on Product Hub as well. So we talk about Product Hub in all these sessions. Product Hub is a great place to get everything from release notes, understand articles, latest features, etc. But a guide specifically explaining everything that Vivek just talked about with regards to camera modes, platforms, and what the look and feel will be like. All of that will be available when CollabOS 115 is released as well. So I know some people are saying, oh, can we get the slides? We need to know for our platform, etc. Just know we're also going to be posting that there as well.
Okay. So all of this information will be available for everyone to lean into. Awesome. Before we do jump into availability, and I'm sure everyone wants to know when, maybe Craig, Robert, Kristen, should we jump on Q&As?
I can, Robert, I can ask one of the first ones because this was even a question that came up for me. So Vivek, when it comes to camera modes and it comes to Sight, I think some clarification for audience on this would be helpful. So when we first released Sight, speaker mode was the primary mode that you used where you got Sight. You got 4 individuals, you get the contextual room view. Now that's looking different for daisy chaining, right? We're using composite view on Teams, we're using intelligent director for Zoom. I'm sure it's also different by platform, but do you want to maybe talk through some of the nuances between both of those views and how Sight will play with different camera modes?
Yeah, I'll start off with the underlying philosophy, and I think, Craig, that's where the initial question came in. We started off with speaker focus in Zoom rooms or speaker view from a CollabOS settings perspective or sync perspective, because we knew when we introduced Sight, people in the remote end wanted to experience the active conversation. And that could be up to 4 people as you're seeing in our stream, but it gave those participants a clear trigger on where to focus and whom to focus on. And that's where the speaker focus or the speaker view came in. And that's also how we also made sure that we had smart switching as a feature set. So as remote participants, you're always getting the best frame of the person in a conversation, right? So if I'm talking to Kristen in this call, Sight will pick me up and same will go for Kristen, where she's also picked up by Sight. When I turn around and I'm talking to all the remote participants, immediately you can see that I'm getting picked up at the Riley bar. This was one of the experiences that led us to be the first certified Zoom Rooms appliance intelligent director solution, which also meant we had a lot of positive feedback where customers wanted, hey, I have 8 people in the room, I have 10 people in the room. Can you frame everyone so that it's not just an equitable meeting for the active speakers, but also folks who are in that conference room and remote participants can get to see the best angle of these participants. So with the introduction of daisy chaining of Sight, we also realized there's no need for us to be only focusing on active speakers anymore, but also framing the participants to be able to get an equitable experience. So that's why our friends in the back of the table or at the head of the table, they're also getting framed, even though, I'm pretty much taking all the talk time here in this room.
Yes, yeah.
Right. So that was kind of the intent here is with daisy chaining of sight. It's not just about individuals who are talking, but it is about individuals in the meeting room being framed. So remote participants can get the best frame of those participants. This naturally, when integrated with a Zoom or a Teams or Meet, fits into their camera control entire ecosystem. And that's where in Zoom, we're leveraging Intelligent Director. In the case of Teams rooms on Android, we're leveraging Composite View. And then in other solutions, we're kind of using Sync as a ways for IT admins to control what is the default setting. Craig, anything else on that part?
No, I think that's pretty clear. Robert, you want to
Yeah, I've got
some
it.
questions here?
I've got a question that came in, and Vivek, we have several customers out there that have already made an investment in Sight, and they put it into rooms in a way where they would put the mic pod closest to the TV and then the Sight towards the end of the table. I think it's a fairly common scenario that we're seeing. And the question that came in from this particular customer is around do they just need to pull the mic out and drop in the second Sight in place of the microphone if it's at the front of the table, or do they need to go in and rewire everything? And it doesn't matter. And then a second part of the question is, does it matter which Sight is at the front of the table? Does it have to be in a specific order or anything like that?
Yeah, no, so I'll break it into two parts, and I'll actually tag Davis to answer the first part of what you do with the mic pod that's in the front of the room. And then I'll take the second part of what order to connect it in.
Well, because of the site with the built-in microphone, right? I would take out the Rally mic pod, and I would place what I would call Site 1 there because it's the closest to the bar. And then I would run my category cable back to the second one. There's a bit of rewiring because we're gonna have, daisy chaining. So the side at the front will be Site 1 and then Site 2. But the best part is with our product team, what we done, we included a even better mic array on top of Sight.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a plug for our mic pods on both the existing products and the new site. That said, so the order is we always want end users to experience that seamless experience of microphone and camera coverage. So first is the Rally bar. The closest device to the Rally bar would be Site 1. So if that was a mic pod previously, we would ask you to install the new Sight connected to the Rally bar directly to Sight, and that is where you would place the Sight. Then connect the second Sight, which is already installed at the head of the table, to the Site 1 that was just recently installed. So you still are running a single cable back to the Rally bar. In this case, with the Sight, it's a CAT cable, so you do not have to worry about additional wiring there. And then you can connect the existing Sight. Again, I'm already going Sight to a Sight, kind of daisy chaining aspect of it. So you can connect the existing Sight to the newly installed Sight on that RJ45 port. And that would allow you to be able to leverage this feature with CollabOS 150.
Yeah, and someone who's been an installer who's ran many cables, different varieties, different lengths. Thank you guys so much for doing category cable. That actually makes my job of managing our office here in Silicon Valley that much easier. So hats off to you guys.
Thanks to the team. Another quick call out for that. Again, these are like we mentioned, and we'll talk about the availability in a bit. This is coming in as a beta feature. Our intent is to collect more feedback from folks in this call and others to understand the IT admin perspective, to understand the end user of the meeting room perspective, so we can improve on this feature before we call it out as available. Right, so
Sorry,
that's an
I
explicit
was
intent
still sharing
also.
my screen,
So
Vivek. I stopped my share, that way we can just focus
no
on
issues.
you.
Excellent.
All good.
Vivek, a quick question on that, because folks are eager. We always mention that we do have a CollabOS update beta channel on Sync. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So, at Logitech, we kind of have this staged rollout, and we also, have that as a recommendation for our customers as they get a lot of these firmware updates to stage the rollouts across the fleet. We start off with what we call as an early access or early preview, where we talk to some customers and we hand select them to try out some new features. And then in sync, our device platform, what we recommend is customers to create custom channels. So that way, you're not only relying on Logitech and the production releases and beta releases we are rolling out, you can also create additional rings or stages of how you want to roll out these firmware version. So from Sync, we provide a Logitech production channel, also a Logitech beta channel. But customers can then choose, hey, my state, I'm going to split it up into additional percentage points and then get releases for them accordingly. Is there a question there or? All right.
This question.
So yeah, so Sync device platform. Sorry, go ahead, Robert. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, Vivek. This question has come up more than once, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times. I know today the Sight experience is reserved to the Rally Bar and the Rally Bar Mini. We do have a couple of folks asking questions within the chat about when might this be available for the Rally Plus system for customers that have Rally Plus. I don't know if you're able to or willing to share anything from an outlook standpoint here, and if you are, it'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah, no, so I'll definitely not put a timeline to it, but it is something that we're actively looking into, trying to understand based on Rally systems with Sight on Zoom and Teams, how that experience is going to be. Once we have something a little bit more concrete to share out, I'm sure in one of the Talke Techie to me or the next up sessions, we'll share more details.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you, Vivek. Craig, do you want to tee up any more questions before we jump into the availability aspect?
No, I think we covered most of the meat and potatoes of everything.
Awesome.
All right, let me share again here. Vivek, okay, availability.
Awesome. All right. So cat's out of the bag. Right. So early preview is available starting now. If you have a camera or something, screenshot, the QR code takes you to a Google form. So we do ask for a few little details so we can keep in touch with you. And we'll be able to enroll your devices to receive the CollabOS 115 release in which this feature is available. Once you fill that form out within 24 to 48-hour window, we typically will onboard anyone who's enrolling into that early preview. In the coming weeks timeframe, again, fingers crossed on our side, we are working through a release that's in beta today. We will make CollabOS 115 available next as part of the public beta. So this is where, again, you can leverage the Sync platform to be able to assign devices to the public beta and try it out. And roughly, sometime around in July, pending feedback and, how we address those feedback, we will look to GA this release. So when this release is available, it will be available for, again, Teams, Zoom, and Google customers, and also BYOD customers. So here's a high-level timeline that we are working up towards. Again, starting today, though, you can already start applying to get access to the early preview. And, we are looking for feedback, so please do share them as you try it out.
Excellent. And Vivek, when customers do jump into the early preview, I assume there'll be information coming on how to provide feedback back into our product team.
Yeah. So as you get onboarded or enrolled into the early preview, we will send out an invitation or an introduction email with details on some of the documentation we shared today, and also documentation on how you can reach us for any of the feedback that you have for this solution.
Awesome. Thank you, Vivek. Any other questions? Did we catch anything else that came in over the last couple of minutes here, Craig?
Not that I am seeing. We answered Rally
Maybe I'll
Plus.
take a question that came in from Eduardo. And I think there was a question on, hey, when can I see all three views as three different tiles on Teams rooms? So this is something that we are working towards. I'll just call it as a roadmap item. And at ISE and Infocom this year, and with CollabOS 115, we are introducing the Teams rooms on Windows intelligent camera feature, so you can get multiple tiles. Subsequently, after this feature rolls out and when the daisy chaining of Sight has improved from all the feedback, over the course of this year and next year, we will introduce Sight as part of that ecosystem. So don't have a date, but pretty soon we will have Sight also being part of that multi-tile experience on Teams rooms on Windows. And again, we're working with our partner Microsoft on this for Teams rooms on Android. We'll keep you posted as we get closer.
Excellent. Well, this is fantastic. It's really nice to see this demonstration live. This is a beta, so if you did observe anything that was misbehaving, just know that we are taking notes, and we will be working on those things. And we look forward to those of you out there that are interested and actually have a second site and you want to try this out. Here's the information. We hope that you opt into the beta and provide us some feedback on your feelings around how this is behaving and acting. I think this is a real big step in the right direction. I'm super thrilled for it, and I know a lot of you out there have been anticipating this for a long time. And with that, I think unless there's any other questions out there, I think we could probably go ahead and wrap up. And Kristen, I'll hand it over to you.
You know, do you guys mind if we go around the table? I was really excited. We got to have our BDRs here today. They're new to Logitech, and I wanted to take a minute for them to introduce themselves, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, Dylan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I'm Dylan. I went to USC, and my favorite part about Logitech is the office space.
Thank you. Yeah, we asked them to give a little feedback on what they like about Logitech, because there's lots to like.
I'm Tiffany. I went to San Jose State, and my favorite thing about Logitech is all the ergonomic products.
My name is Anand. I went to USC. My favorite thing about Logitech is the people I get to work with.
I'm Sophia. I went to San Jose State, and my favorite part about Logitech is the work-life balance.
I'm Jasmine. I just graduated from UC Berkeley, and my favorite part about Logitech is also the people.
Vivek, what do you like about Logitech?
It is actually the people that we all
Yeah.
get to work with.
I'm gonna go with the people too.
Vivek. I mean,
So-
you might like us, but we don't like you, so, I'm just kidding.
Love Vivek. What are you talking about, man? This is awesome. It was nice to see the kind of round the horn aspect, and I hope everybody is going to give this a shot and let us know how we can help out.
Sure.
And then a quick call out. I know we had our buddy Davis was sitting here. He did have to step out for a bit, but again, as you can see between Sight and the rally bar, it was able to clearly understand who's in the room and who's not, and frame the rest of the people in the room. And that's kind of, again, a quick highlight of how dynamically the solution takes care of adjusting. And, to the other call out Robert already had, any kind of glitches or nuances that you're seeing, right? We are also taking note. And as you test it also, please do share that as feedback coming in.
We are being brave and showing you something pretty early here, so we appreciate everybody's patience. And another note did come in. I know we already have customers that are super anxious to hear more about Logitech Spot, and our Talke Techie to me next month, last Tuesday of the month, is going to be all about Spot and the things that are coming with that and what it would bring to your organizations. From a environmental sensing standpoint. And so we're super excited about that. And what I'll do now is hand it over to Kristen. And
Yeah, we're just gonna wrap it up here. I do want to announce our winner, Armando Moreno from BMW of our UE Boom. I want to give a big thank you to Vivek, Davis, Craig for running our demo and presentation today on site, and to the people in the room as well. Welcome to Logitech. We're excited to have you, and thank you for helping us with our demo today. And I think I'm just going to wrap it up at that. Thank
Do we
you.
want to talk about, do we want to talk about any
Oh,
these
did you want to
upcoming
talk about
events
next up?
before Might
We
as
talked
well.
about Talke
Might
Techie.
as-
Let's talk about next up.
For those of
Go
you
to
who really
the next
enjoyed
up. There
hearing
you
Vivek
go.
and I talk today, we're going to be talking again at Next Up, which is the week of 7/7. There's a QR code here. Just one call out on this is that, yes, we are going to be talking about daisy chaining a bit during that session, but we're really going to be talking about the broader CollabOS 1.15, which is going to have a lot of other features. We're going to be talking about people recognition for Microsoft Teams Rooms on Windows. That's been a long-awaited feature. We're going to be talking about some new upgrades to our Right Sound 2 algorithms, which are going to make voices come out even more clear. And there's a lot of other really cool stuff, HDMI ingest on certain platforms that folks have been waiting for too. So a lot of really good stuff that's going to be packed into that session. And again, if you like our charming banter between Vivek and I, we'll have more of that during that session as well.
I'm really looking forward to the next up, Craig. This is going to be a big one, and we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming down the pike. Not only is this dual site stuff pretty cool, but Vivek and team are working on a million other things, and we can't wait to tell you about it. And that's what the design is of the next up, is to talk about what's coming. Whereas we're here in Talke Techie, to me, we tend to talk about what's intimate, or what's going to happen pretty quickly. And so anyway, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, folks.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.